this is important because then it will shows the range of your vocabulary, right? So using synonym is important because they will demonstrate your language use. So that's basically what it is all about. So let's look at here the introduction personally. So can you think of any word or phrases that can replace it but still have the same function?
Okay. Um, in my point of view,
Mm-hmm.
personally,
Okay.
and I think, yeah, we can say, uh, in my assumption
Mm-hmm.
or in my perspective,
Yes.
there are many beneficial,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
many, right?
Yes, that's you can do that. So be careful with the word assumption. Okay, so assumption is more like a prejudice uh, perspective. So
Mhm.
instead, yes, you correct yourself with using the word perspective, which is better. Okay, so
Okay.
be very, very careful with wording because
Mhm.
they will see that, right? Language use also includes in how accurate do you use a word. So here are some of the choice, right? So as you can see, personally can be
My
changed into in my
opinion,
opinion, right? So you
my
already mentioned it. My
experience,
perspective,
my
as far as
view,
my concern. So
I
all of
think,
this is a neutral language, right?
uh,
A neutral language, but
I,
it already relies on yourself, so it has the same meaning as personally. It's just a different way to say it, and it's a more neutral language. Remember, in Indonesian, there are words that have a bad, that we associate with a bad feeling or
connotation. Uh,
yes, connotation, bad impression or good impression, right? So
yeah.
those kind of things, it's also something that we need to keep in mind because we're in formal language, right? So in formal language, reading between the line what we implies with the language that we use can also affect how people perceive or how people understand our opinion or our reasoning of something, right? So make sure try to use a more neutral if you can,
Mhm.
but if it's something that you, for example, strongly agree, for example, you might want to shift it a little, but I think it's safe to say that this neutral language would be acceptable in most of the situation. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So now let's look at the word think that. So think that is a phrase, right?
Mhm.
So can you think of another synonym for that phrase?
I think, was it? I predict that.
I,
Oh, no, no.
Mhm.
What else? I think, and I don't know. What?
That's all right.
Maybe
So
Friday.
we already really used to this word, right? So we
Yeah.
already really used to this word. So sometimes we forgot about the synonyms. Now, remember, as I mentioned before, it is important that you know the synonym. So reading the dictionary will help, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Basically look up for words that have the same meaning as think or have related to think. Usually if you use the electronic dictionary, I think most of the time right now, or I'm sorry, not dictionary, the thesaurus, so they show you the synonym and then they also show you the related word. So that's actually pretty convenient because then you can click on the word and then see the definition, right? So
Yeah. All right.
we can, for example, in this type of situation, write, I claim that. So claim is okay in here because it's more, as I mentioned before, it's pretty neutral. And because you are talking about your opinion, right? So you can say, for example, I claim that, for example, or I feel that, for example, I believe, right?
Yeah.
You can also say that I reason or I postulate for some things that sounds more academic. For example, I postulate or I reason. Or you can also say I assert, for example, like that. If you think that you want to say that I strongly believe, right? When I said I strongly believe, assert, for example, can be a good synonym to use for examples like that, right? So
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sure you look for this kind of word. It's the we already very familiar with the word think. Sometimes it seems like there is no other alternative for that, right? No alternative
Mm-hmm.
for the word. But if we look it up, there's actually a lot of words that have that is the synonym and also have some relationship to this word. So make sure